Welcome back, all of you hardcore division agents out there. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Agent Comms Radio. Today we've got a lot to cover. I'm probably going to ramble a little bit towards the end. I've got a few things to cover on my own behalf. We're going to discuss patch 1.2 and everything that it contains. All the details and all the specs. I'm sure you guys are aware of most of it, but I'm going to go over it. I'm going to talk about what I'm enjoying, what I think is a good idea, what I don't, okay, so you follow me on that. Also, I'm looking for a co-host. Everybody, I wanted to announce this first and foremost. I'm looking for a co-host, someone out there to join me here on Agent Comms Radio. And I just need a neutral opinion, somebody credible, as far as the division goes. We'll get into all the specs and everything about that here in just a little bit. But yes, let it be known now, I am looking for a co-host to do this show with me on a weekly basis. Also, real quick, I need a new intro. Is there anybody out there who's really, really fun and creative with After Effects or Adobe and all that good stuff? I'm looking for something division related. I don't know if you want to use a backdrop of a city, or a blizzard, or I don't know. Just somebody who's got a creative personality. I am in the market for a new intro. So if you're a professional who charges money for some of this stuff, I'm willing to pay some cash for a new intro. This one is probably 2 years old, and I'm just ready for something a little fresh. I would like to move my intro over to the outro and would like to have a new intro. That'll be the last time I say that word. So yes, anybody who's got some creative computer skills and some good knowledge with that, please get a hold of me, whether it's YouTube messages or as simple as leaving a comment down below with your personal information, and I'll contact you. Also, just some things that I'm kind of enjoying, but then again, I'm not kind of enjoying. Does that make sense? There's still a lot of issues inside the Dark Zone. We'll go ahead and cover a few of those things here after we discuss the patch notes. Before we get started with everything, yes, I am looking for a new host. I'm looking for somebody neutral out there, and I do have a few requirements. We're going to go over those right now. I'm looking for somebody who can be readily available, mainly on the weekends. See, the Agent Comms Radio, when I first started this series, I went in with the mentality of a weekly, I don't really want to use the term podcast. Podcast is for iTunes, and you get what I'm saying. This is ACR. This is what we're calling this, ACR, and I'm looking for a neutral co-host, somebody who's credible inside of the division and the world of Manhattan and everything that exists inside of it. You need to be informative. Also, I'm looking, you need to be articulate. You need to be inflective. I don't want somebody who doesn't speak English very well. No offense to people who live around the world. I need somebody very, very tuned in with the English language. I mean, if you're from, Germany or England and you speak, good English, that's no problem. Sounds great to me. Also, educated. Need to be educated if you're going to join. Mind you, I'm not very educated. I graduated high school, did 4 years at a mass broadcasting college, got my education there. So, yes, I am educated. So, yes, that's kind of what I'm looking for there. And someone who's somewhat mature. And I say this word loosely. I love to have fun. I love to crack jokes. I love to be ornery. Sometimes I take it a little over the edge with the curse words. I know some people have been getting a hold of me saying, dude, J-Pot, you would have a lot more views and a lot more subs if you just tone it on the F-bombs, please. And I've received a fantastic piece of feedback from a gentleman in the comment section down below, and he explained to me, I can't listen with headphones. My kids are around, or I may be at work watching your video. Now, number one, you shouldn't be watching my content around kids or at work. I've always promoted this channel as a mature channel and for a mature audience. So, but yes, I am toning that back a little bit. I tend to curse a little too much, and that's my natural personality. My wife complains about it all the time. And I'm dropping F-bombs in church sometimes. It's just, I'm that bad. So I'm pretty ignorant. I apologize. I went to Cussaholics Anonymous, and I did make it after 2 weeks. I dropped that class, so wasn't my forte. So now that we got all of the shenanigans and non-essentials out of the way, J-Pot's looking for a co-host, and he's looking for a new intro. If anybody out there, if you're interested, please get a hold of me. Like I said, YouTube messages and or down in the comments below. So let's go ahead and get started. Awesome. For starters, the state of the game. Patch 1.2 is, really, who knows when it's going to be out? I don't even think they know when it's really going to be out. But let's go ahead and start with this week's maintenance. We've got some more anti-spam measures for in-game chat. And, everybody's harping on Massive, talking about, oh man, I've never seen a game that has to have more maintenance schedules than The Division. And one guy in a comment said, if I test drove a brand new car and knew that it would have to get weekly maintenance every week, I wouldn't buy the damn car. Very good point, Touche, friend down in the comments section below. But yes, with an RPG MMO-ish type game like this, it's going to require a lot of maintenance. And even Massive announced that it's not really maintenance. It's mainly, spam measures or stability. That's all it is. It's only down for a couple of hours. I mean, Jesus, in those couple hours, go outside. Get a little sunshine. It'll be okay. All right, so moving on to some of the patch notes here for 1.2 that's coming up. The Sentry's Call bug. That is supposedly going to get fixed. It will be known fixed in the 1.2 patch, and at this moment, sometimes players will be marked with the Sentry's Call, the debuff. But when they are close to players that wear the Sentry Call set, you have a debuff mark that the current workaround is a log out, log in. So there's a little glitch where you're already marked and you weren't really marked. I don't know, it's a weird little bug. To get rid of it, just literally log out and log back in. That'll get fixed in 1.2. Weekly incursion reward problem, that is also getting fixed. Before the reset, finish it after the reset. The game considers you have done it in the new week and you won't get a weekly reward. Now this happens to me all the time. Every single time. That's why you're not seeing a lot of incursion content on my channel, because I can't do it. I haven't received an option for a weekly challenge at all in the past month, and I've told this to several of my fellow bro chachos on my friends list. Guys, why does Falcon Lost show a check mark when I haven't done it in 2 weeks? It makes no sense. So that is getting fixed, hopefully sooner before 1.2, because I would like to do the incursion at least a couple more times. I'm not going to do it without the weekly challenges. You're nuts. There's no point, in my opinion. Moving on, let's discuss the new features, and I'm really excited about these new features, but I failed to do one tradition that we've got going here on Agent Comms Radio. Usual suspect, and everybody out there, please join me for a frosty beverage. In 1, 2, 3. Ah, yes. That's what I live for. That's good. I love me a frosty Bavarian wheat ale. Yes, I love my wheat ales. I'm a real hoppy guy. Like the Belgian Blue Moons. Those are kind of overrated, but it's nice if I want to go to sleep. I mean, that beer is way too hoppy. You drink a 6-pack of Belgian Blue Moons, and you will be passed out on the couch. Not passed out from drunk, but passed out because there's so much hops in Belgian Blue Moons. You will literally, like tryptophan in the turkey, which is actually an urban myth. The urban myth, you'll pass out as soon as you get done eating on Thanksgiving. Same way with Belgian Blue Moons. So let's go ahead and take another slug. Salud Familia. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the new features for 1.2. Guys, I am really pumped about all this. There will be new gear sets, and some of those gear sets will be weapon specific. Now, this is a vague vague term, okay? But I notice nobody really uses the light machine guns. Nobody really uses the shotguns. Everybody out there is using an M1A, an AUG, or an Vector. That's it. Submachine guns and marksmen. That's it. So I am really hoping that this new 1.2 patch will incentivize people to want to use the light machine guns and the shotguns. I've got several on stand ready to rock, and I'm just ready to rock. But I mean, there's no point using them. Everybody's using the OP submachine guns right now, and everybody's using the OP marksman rifles. That's fine. I am one of those guys using both. And there's nothing wrong with it, but you need to incentivize the rest of the weapons. We want to see more weapons and reasons to use that weapon. So yes, there will be new gear sets. I'm very, very excited about this. The Voip Indicator, that is now getting fixed, or not fixed, but a new feature. Player is now in the UI, so you will know when you are broadcasting. That will be handy. Here's another fantastic new feature I'm really excited about, the Phoenix Credit Cap. Now, I'm one of those guys who reach to 1,000 and then you spend almost 1,000 on a gun or just something, you know what I mean? It's not enough. It's not enough. Well, everybody out there, if you didn't know, you know it now. The new Phoenix Credit Cap will be increased to 2,000 Phoenix credits. This, my friend, is fantastic. Moving on, the max gear score of the items will stay at 204 and 240. This, I don't know. I'm actually okay with, because I don't think we as a community are really ready to gear up. A lot of these, I just ran with a guy in DZ solo last night, and he was like a 212, a gear score 212. And I could be a gear score 212, but it's a broken and pointless gear set. So if you wanted to artificially inflate your gear score, you could run with completely, utterly pointless gear. But yes, I'm sure he was artificially inflated because he kind of sucked. You know what I mean? Because that's another thing. You can tell who cheesed and exploited the incursion, because even though with your artificially inflated gear score, you still suck. And I think people notice that moreover than your gear score. Moving on the inventory screen, health will be replaced with a new attribute called toughness. Now, this is toughness is the sum of the health, stamina, and armor. It won't include or attributes such as protection against elite, of those skill attributes, but it gives you a better understanding if the new item gives you a buff or not. So in other words, you have two pieces of gear, and with your toughness gauge, now you can look at it and see if your toughness goes up, you know your armor goes up. There was this little misconception previously, before, or what it is now. You really don't know if you're gaining an advantage or not. You have to go into your character inventory, you got to look at your mitigation, you got to, you know what I mean? It's a pain in the arse. And it's now with the toughness, it's going to be much more convenient. In other words, you're going to know, especially looking at two pieces of gear, you will look at your toughness now, and that will go up, and that's the piece of gear that you want. So it won't include skill attributes such as protection against elite. It's just straight up armor. Now, the new incursion. Let's discuss this loosely. The new incursion will have the same gear requirement as Falcon Lost. I don't really know how I feel about this, guys. I guess I'm okay with it. You know, I'm okay with not the increase of the gear score, because I think they're doing this because so many people cheesed and exploited the Falcon Lost that it essentially kind of broken the entire format, or the entire next 3 months of the game. Now the game's trying to catch up. So they're not going to increase the gear score for this next incursion. It will have a new name and a not broken circle. So that is already confirmed. Basically, everything you see now on the map about the new incursion is placeholder. So there's no thing as purple gear sets, but there will be new sets. So where it's at on the map, that's where we're going, essentially. Balancing weapons. I see a lot of people, I don't know, kind of butthurt about this, but there's no nerfing. It's all buffs. So everybody just relax. Literally, just relax. Metagame should move away from the Vector, AUG, and M1A because these are very, very easy to obtain right now. Now this, and which is true because you buy the game started out as the Vector. That was the gun everybody was after because the blueprint, everybody could get one. And then the game updated, and then it was the AUG. Same with the blueprints, you can just make a bunch of them, and the same with the M1A. Now the developers are going to want us to move away from that. They're going to want us to move away from crafting mentality. They claim there's going to be enough actual, and I'm doing the bunny ears right now, the quotations in the air right now. Okay, they claim, bunny ear, they claim that there will be much worthy loot going around in the game, which will, it gives you more incentive to go out there and not craft. They really want players to move away from being so dependent on the crafting station. Now 1.2 will be a first step in the direction from moving away from these craftable weapons, and in 1.2 the player will get more and better weapons. Now they will also use the archetypes that are now, you know, not so popular, also supported with the new gear sets. These weapons will not be directly touched in 1.2. I don't really know how they're going to go about this. I don't know if this is a discussion for the shotguns and the light machine guns. It could very well be. They are not balancing weapon talents like Brutal. Bonus will be additive. Balanced mentioned last week. Balance was always broken, okay? And it's broken in a good way. It gave us players OP headshots over and over and over and over and over. Well, they're finally going to fix that. Balls. So 1.2 balancing Sentry's Call. The Sentry's Call is very OP right now in comparison to the other gear sets. I disagree. I'm not a big fan of it. I guess I don't have any pieces to really use it. So I really haven't used Sentry's Call to know if I don't like it or not. So I kind of take that comment back. I guess it's OP. After 1.2, the debuff mark, it will only be applied with semi-automatic weapons such as pistols, shotguns, and marksman rifles. Now, performance mods. Everybody, let's give a round of applause. I love performance mods, but 98% of them are useless. I kind of force myself into using the highest ones. Now performance mods will be buffed to compensate the absence of a character attribute. The skill buff will be a lot higher. Let's just give it another round of applause. This is fantastic. I was really hoping for this, and I'm not disappointed. This is fantastic. Last but not least, balancing armor and damage mitigation. The armor cap is increased. One more round of applause. Awesome. It is going up from 65% to 75%. I am currently on my skill power build. I'm really soft. I'm really squishy with like 50%. And then on my tank build, it's doing pretty good. My DPS tank build, I'm at 64%, and I probably could go higher. So hearing that the damage mitigation is being increased to 75%, this should really compensate for the higher damage that got available with the new gear. This is, I'm cheesing right now. I'm cheesing so hard. Let's take another swig of our frosty Bavarian wheat ale. God, I love this. Absolutely delicious. But to get to the 75% damage mitigation, you're going to sacrifice your other stats. I really don't know. This is kind of vague. If anybody down below wants to participate and conversate and let me know what the heck that means, that would be great. I really don't know what that means. Quick impressions. You know, I think everything's great. I think the balancing weapons, I think it needs to be done. You know, a lot of those shotguns and light machine guns, they're going to be of use. This is fantastic. I don't think I've ever seen one person in the Dark Zone. Mind you, I officially have 13 days into the Dark Zone, or excuse me, the Division. I have 13 days. That's 12 days on one character, 1 day on another. So, no, wait, I think it's 11 and 2. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. I don't remember what it is. About 13 days. So hourly, I really don't feel like doing any math. I've already started drinking, so I mean that's out of the question for me anyways. But yes, this is great. The new incursion, I'm really pumped. I'm really glad to hear that they're not increasing the gear score. That is awesome. The inventory screen with the toughness, I think, is a fantastic idea. I love the new features with the gear sets, the Voip Indicator, the Phoenix credit cap to 2,000. Awesome. And the reward problem with the weekly incursion. I haven't been able to do one in over a month. This is ridiculous. I'm a little jealous. Everybody out there is getting all these 240 pieces, and I'm not getting squat. I'm not, it's kind of unfair. So I guess I'm going to contact Vision and request that I at least get a 240 striker backpack. That's what I want. Not going to happen. Let's go ahead and one more time talk about I'm looking for a new host. Guys, I'm looking for a new host. If you think that you're credible and you're a great public speaker, you're very conversationalistic, that's a big word. It might be a made-up word, I don't know. But you have to be very worthy of topic discussion. I need somebody that I can feed off of, that will feed off of me, that will debate, that we will discuss. These are all things that I am looking for. That's why I want somebody who's neutral, somebody I don't know, somebody who's not on my friends list. And, you need to know how to speak. That's one of the biggest criteria. The one and biggest criteria being on ACR, joining me as the co-host, I need you on PlayStation 4. Because, and I know that's kind of a big deal. It's nothing, no offense to PC and Xbox. It's just, I would prefer to be able to run with this guy. Because you don't know a person until you run the Dark Zone with them. And I am a firm believer about that. You don't know a guy deep down until you run the DZ. And, it comes down to some DZ6. Yeah. I completely forgot. The DZ expansion bracket. Holy cow, how did I forget about this? How did I overlook this in my notes? Let me flip my pages here. Oh, there. Oh, no, that's not it. No, that's not it. Oh, here it is. DZ. I missed it, guys. Sorry about that. The new DZ expansion bracket. We are officially going to get gear set drops and high ends dropping at 204 and 214. In the Dark Zone. It's going to be in a new expanded area. I'm assuming when this will be the area that you play in General Assembly. If you play General Assembly, there's an area, I think it's in the auditorium. You can go stand on the big map table and you can see where the Dark Zone expansion is. It will be DZ7. And these guys are going to, guys as a named enemy in factions, you better go in there with a squad. There's not going to be much DZ7 solo runs, I guarantee it. So that's going to be really, really difficult, but really, really worth it. Awesome. Now I can close my book. Sweetness. Pretty much covered everything I wanted to go ahead and cover. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode of Agent Comms Radio. I wanted to not first and foremost, but last and lastmost, apologize for not uploading an episode for last weekend. Like I said, I was looking for a host. I couldn't find anybody on my friends list to join me. I kind of got a little irritated, but not a big deal. Actually, I only asked like one or two guys. So anybody on my friends list, don't take offense to what I just said. Nothing personal. Trucks, it's your fault. I really like talking with Trucks. He's the kind of guy I'm looking for, but he's just too darn busy. Like I said, I'm looking for somebody who can be on the spot, Johnny Beckham, and very, very flexible schedule. So awesome. Pretty much got everything I wanted to cover. If you enjoyed this week's episode of ACR, please hit the indicator of the upward thumb. I would greatly appreciate it. I mean, it really motivates me to maybe do a little more. Awesome. Until next time, guys, take it easy and peace out.